back to Swing State Update. It's great to be here again with the wonderful new spokeswoman of Turning Point Action, Caitlin Sinclair.
Woo, woo.
So we're doing this in person now.
Yeah, my first time in the state of Arizona. Can you believe that?
State of Arizona. It's 112 degrees outside. She's wearing a long sleeve.
Yeah, this is
business apparel. It's a little warm.
I learned my lesson.
It's fine. We're inside. Like when you're inside in Arizona, it's freezing in here. So my office and where we were meeting earlier was so cold. So it's totally cool. Happy to have Caitlin here at Turning Point Action headquarters.
On debate night.
On debate night, nonetheless. And big things happening. We're doing Thought Crime, which you're going to be over and hanging out for a little bit. And then you're going on with the great Rudy Giuliani.
America's mayor.
Who is your hometown
That's right.
Republican.
That's right.
The only one that we can claim out of New York for the last 40
one
years.
Standing.
So we're excited. So today's a big day. So we wanted to jump in today and just talk, kind of recap what's going on. We just got back from Wisconsin, where we've been going back and forth from Wisconsin, just like rocking and rolling with our Turning Point Action team, getting everything ready to go. Sadie, how are things with you behind the glass here?
Going good.
Yeah, what's new with you? What's the latest?
I want to go to Wisconsin. I want to go to the Waukesha office really bad.
You haven't been?
No, I haven't been. Should I come soon?
Oh, it's
Yes.
crushing it. So Alex on our team, Alex Story, he's the only guy I know that has a better hat collection than I do. You should see this guy's hat collection. It's incredible.
Does he have that one, though? I mean, look
I
at
doubt
this
it.
fit.
This is a full
Should give us a twirl.
All-America fit. This is my shirt is sold to me from Roosevelt's. This hat is, what did I say it's from?
I don't know, but Tyler's doing like a get ready with me right now.
Yeah, I totally get ready with me. This is, I can't remember right. Oh, Bad Birdie. This is a Bad Birdie hat. But I was saving this. This was supposed to be my fit for the 4th of July, but I'm not hanging out with my family on the 4th of July now because we're staying here working. So
Tonight's more important, I think.
I decided to repurpose it for debate night.
Yeah, you can outfit repeat. We won't tell.
That's cool. No, I'm not. I'm not doing anything on the 4th of July now. I gotta stay home with the dogs and do that while my whole fam is out of town for the 4th. So gotta work. We gotta train some people. Gotta train some more people, and that's exactly what we were doing in Waukesha. So at the Waukesha office, let's throw up the pic. This is just one of our team trainings. So we had this. So that's the beginning of our team. We've already put out dozens and dozens and dozens of people out into the field, including our last week's incredible new team that's out. So we're crushing it, rocking and rolling, putting the work in that needs to happen. They were saying that we like quadrupled the amount of full-time staff that the Wisconsin Republican Party had put out all in one day, and we're not stopping. We're doing that over and over every week. And then this next week, we're putting more people out into the field here in Arizona. That's why I'm staying here in Arizona during the 4th of July, because the 1st through the 3rd, we've got another class that's starting, another class after that. We're doing multiple trainings all at the same time. Oh, here's another pic of in the Waukesha office. There we go. In the middle of training, our Chase the Vote training that we have there. Which is incredible. So for those that are listening, they can't see, what we're looking at are dozens of new full-time people that are hitting the ground in the most critical places in Wisconsin. So between Arizona and Wisconsin, we've got absolute killers going out in the community, working with people who don't always vote, and making sure that every registered Republican, every person who identifies as a Republican in the state of Wisconsin gets out to vote this election. So
yeah, that was a really good group that I met and got to witness that. That was fun.
Yeah, you were part of the training.
Yeah,
that we had there.
I can go ballot chase now.
And we had you can go ballot chase. You will be. Everybody will be. If you're in the state of Arizona in the month of October or in Wisconsin, we are going to put you to work. I'm personally committing to chasing 1,000 ballots in October. 1,000 ballots. So that's the work that I'm going to do. We've got at least a dozen more of our prime activists who are committing to chasing over 500 ballots. Our average person that we have will be chasing at least 10 votes per day. And so we're putting hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of full-time staff out to do that. It's going to be very difficult for the left to win without absolutely cheating. So we have, all our election integrity experts are putting eyes and ears on everybody, and we are doing that hard work. So, really excited for today, though, because today really marks the start, I think, of when the average American is thinking about the election.
Yeah, and a little bit earlier than normal, obviously, but
Are you surprised? Let me ask you a question before you say that. So, are you surprised that a debate is happening this early?
Yes and no, but I'm going to lean more towards no, because you just said that this is when most Americans start paying attention. But I think Americans have been forced to pay attention, right? At the gas pump, at the dinner table, hearing about crime every other day, not feeling safe to send their kids to school or on the streets. So I think Americans have actually been forced this time around to start paying attention way earlier. So not that surprised.
Yeah, I mean, I think people are interested and they're ticked off. A lot of the polls that we're seeing, because everyone knows Trump and Biden, because that was our last election.
Right. And that's also a first, obviously.
There's not a lot of people that don't know these gentlemen, right? Both are pretty well known at this point. I actually have a theory. I think that the left screwed themselves by doing all the tricky stuff that they did last time, because no one really got to know Biden. So you had COVID, you had all that. The average American really didn't know Joe Biden, right? They knew of Joe Biden. They knew he was the VP for Obama. But they knew he was a different guy. And so it was a lot of just okay, well, I kind of know him and COVID's going on. So I might pull the trigger for him or whatever else, right? Pull the lever for him. Our side really knows and loves Donald Trump really well at this point. And not everybody was sold on him at first in 2015, 2016. And progressively over the years, people have become more in love with Donald Trump, not less in love. And this I'm talking in generalities. Yeah, no,
I like that theory, actually, because I would argue Americans right now are craving authenticity, right? That everyone wants to know people, their politicians now, even local.
Who's real and who's fake.
Yes, on a personal level. And hiding in the basement for 10 plus days, I don't know.
Yeah,
what message does that send?
Well, Joe Biden was nowhere to be found. Nobody really knew him. Now the economy. So if you're an average American, it's really interesting. I had a really interesting conversation with an Uber driver, and we didn't talk politics. And I talked to a lot of Uber drivers, so you'll hear us talk about this a lot. I'll be in an Uber traveling somewhere. I was coming home from Wisconsin, and dude picks me up from the airport, and he is a first generation Mexican immigrant. He's a citizen. He's got a family. He's got 2 kids, a wife, and he was laid off from his job 5 months ago, 6 months ago. This last year at some point, right? Yeah. And the first thing that came out of his mouth was, the economy sucks, right? And it's offensive. But in addition to that, he said something really interesting. He's and I said, well, what do you do? How do you turn things around? He's like, we got to elect the right guy this November. So clearly, without even saying anything, without talking politics at all, the dude was all in for Trump. So you're talking about a bilingual, Mexican American family, young family, pissed as hell at what's going on, and ready to pull the lever for Trump. And that is something that's the undercurrent that we're seeing. And it's because, again, I don't think very many people are that indebted emotionally to Joe Biden.
Right. He doesn't have that gravitas to make those personal.
I think a lot of people felt that way about Obama, right? Because if you think about it, I don't know if you remember, you probably remember, everybody that was in our age category, right? That's that sub, let's at the time it was, early 20s to early 30s, right? All those people in that time period that voted for Obama, I think they felt I went so far invested into him, and I knew him so well the emotional attachment made it really hard, even today, I think, to break off of Obama.
Yeah, and I think that also has to do with just Obama being a great orator, right? Joe Biden can't.
Yeah, I mean, like objectively, Obama's cool,
Right.
which sucks for us, but like it's just true. Like,
At least we can admit it.
He's cool. He never like went off the rails for the most part.
Level-headed.
He's pretty level-headed. He would tell jokes. He was not. I don't think he's nearly as funny as Donald Trump, but like he would ha ha, and he seemed easygoing. He'd play basketball. He'd do normal people stuff. He was authentically cool and objectively cool, which made it really hard for Republicans.
Had that connection with the American people that Joe Biden definitely does not have.
Yeah, because it took a lot to like make. Well, John McCain just wasn't cool, right, at all, right? And like he just was, such a grumpy human being.
But tell me if you agree with this. I think at a point in time that didn't necessarily matter as much as it matters now.
Well, it matters now because of Obama.
Right.
Obama changed everything, right? Like you needed and honestly, without Trump, like we would have been so screwed. Because I think in the Joe Biden, the Clintons, like this is the same thing with like Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton was like cool, right? People thought he was cool. And it's been like this, like, oh, you can only be cool if you're a Democrat or a progressive, right? And so Trump has changed everything, because I think a lot of people, especially like you look at what's happening in the black community now and everything else, going, oh, like Trump is way more normal. Like I associate way more with the things coming out of Trump's mouth, and he's just like funny and cool.
Yeah, like that's my bro or that's my dude is now how people see it.
They're looking at it, right? Like he's standing up. And that goes back to like even like I was talking with that Uber driver about like building, his job, he mentioned, got shipped overseas. And he's like, I want a president. I want those jobs to come back to the United States, right?
America first, baby.
And there's only one guy talking about that stuff. And that, again, that's cool, right? To talk about, like if you're talking about this. So let's talk about debate. Let's go to the clip on how the debate rules are going to work tonight for those that are listening. You might be catching this tomorrow. But good information to know if you're watching after the fact, or if you catch us before you listen to the debate or rewatch the debate again. Let's go to the clip on the rules.
If we go behind the podiums, you can see two green lights. When they're on, they signal to the candidate his microphone is on. When the green lights are off, they signal to the candidate his microphone is off. Now I want to give you a sense of what it will look like for viewers at home if a candidate whose microphone is off interrupts a candidate whose microphone is on. So I'm standing at one podium, and I'll ask Phil to come in and take the other podium. And so let's say I'm answering a question. My light is green, and I'm speaking. Phil's microphone is off, and his green lights are not illuminated. He's going to interrupt me as I'm speaking, and this is what it will sound like. My volume remains constant, while Phil's interruption can be difficult to understand.
Let's try the opposite. My microphone is now on. Victor's microphone is off, and he's going to interrupt me. My volume remains constant, while Victor's interruption can be difficult to understand.
God, I hate CNN. It's the worst.
I am a robot.
So
They sound so robotic and scary.
if you're listening to this after the debate, I mean, we all will know what has happened. Was this whole system abused? A lot of people are going, wait, so CNN is just going to be able to shut down Trump's mic at any point?
Yes.
And we heard the clip. Do we have the clip of Trump saying like, should I be a jerk to Joe Biden? Do we have that clip?
I don't.
rally?
I can try and find it
See if we
now.
can see if we can find it. But Donald Trump asked the crowd, where was that? Where was his last rally?
In Philly.
Was it
Pennsylvania?
Philly? What?
Pennsylvania?
It must have been Philly that he said this. He asked the crowd, should I be a jerk to Joe Biden? Should I let him talk? Or should I be nice? Should I play nice? And he's like, oh, it's 50-50. And he's like, oh, go
I think
go
he
tough.
should let him talk a majority of the time.
Yeah.
I think let Biden talk as much as possible.
Yep.
Number one, Democrats won't be expecting it, right? Number two, there's no way that Joe Biden can talk for 90 minutes like that without malfunctioning.
It's so smart. Like, it's so true. Like, what you're saying is probably the smartest. We brought this up on Thought Crime last week. I said, I think it's
hire me for debate prep.
I think it's a huge mistake to go after Joe Biden's age.
Yeah.
Why? Because I think old people, like the age thing is already like a known quantity, right? Like he's already made
And
fun
that
of all over
demographic will be
social media.
watching tonight.
But the demographics watching is the older
Mm-hmm.
on cable news. Like the cable news audience is older,
Mm-hmm.
and like they're probably not going to love like old jokes, right? Like old people jokes and making fun of him and things like that. Like things that like worked.
But also the age will just speak for itself. And at this point,
this is your point. Yeah, this is your point. So your point you're making is a really good one, which is just like the best way to exhibit Joe Biden's malfeasance. Just let him talk. Let show his age and his the senior citizen that he is, like he's all screwed up in the head by just letting him talk the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
The less you talk, the more he has to talk. The more he talks, the more mistakes he's going to make and the crazier he's going to
Right.
sound.
Which we know is probably tough for Donald Trump's personality and mine. So
Well, I mean, yeah.
get
I
it.
mean, but you're making a really good point. Like if he does that, if he lets Joe Biden trip all over himself the entire
Mm-hmm.
time, that may be the winning path tonight.
yeah. Yeah.
So those of you that are listening to this after the fact, what do you think? Do you think that Donald Trump took our advice and did he let Joe Biden hang himself a little bit?
You heard
in
it
the
here
debate?
first.
Or what do you think? Or did Donald Trump talk too much and not let Joe Biden have enough words in? Because
Yeah.
again, to your point, in previous debates, Donald Trump was over talking back and forth, right? And I would even argue last election, he overspoke
Agreed.
against Joe Biden.
Yeah.
And a lot of people came away from that like, oh my gosh, like it was just such chaos the entire time. And Trump is the chaos president. And so, poor Joe Biden, right? Now it has to be, Donald Trump is chill. Oh, we got the clip pulled up. Let's play it.
Do we want to play the clip?
Yeah, let's play it.
Should I be tough and nasty and just say you're the worst president in history? Or should I be nice and calm and let him speak? 50-50. Be tough. Be tough. Should I?
So we'll see. I think this is what this debate's going to come down to tonight. Again, we're taping this before, so those who are downloading this, they're listening to this tomorrow. This is on Friday. You'll know. But what did you think? Did Donald Trump let him speak enough? Did he give him enough rope to trip over himself, or not?
Because that part's inevitable, right?
Yeah, and there's another big element to this debate that we haven't talked about yet, Caitlin, which is there might be some big news that gets dropped during the debate. And so again, we're not going to know. It could happen right after the debate. It could happen today if it's Friday. It could happen over the weekend, but we know it's going to happen pretty quick because the RNC conventions are right around.
Right.
So what do you think? So what are we talking about for those listening at home?
Well,
What news could drop during the debate?
I think we're talking about vice president pick.
Yeah. So Trump could completely. I think that it would be smart, and we'll talk about this ahead of the debate on Thought Crime with Charlie and Jack. Is Trump could come prepared and announce his VP candidate with him at the debate,
That would be huge.
which would steal a lot of headlines.
Yep.
So it would, so
Still be Trump in the spotlight, but not actually Donald Trump.
so he may not have to say like let Joe Biden trip all over
Yeah.
himself and then steal headlines by saying, "Here's my VP candidate,"
Right.
and then he's there, and then the VP candidate cleans up all the media afterwards. Mm-hmm. It's pretty smart if they do that.
I like that strategy.
And we might have heard from a few birds that that's a real possibility.
Yeah, that would be huge. That would be smart on their end.
But you also might see that happen right afterwards or in the days after, which also is it's pretty quick. So who do you think's gonna be VP? If let's say Donald Trump announces it at the debate, who do you think the VP nod's gonna go to?
Well, I guess first of all, what you just said, yeah, it doesn't. If whether it's tonight or in the next 2 days, that would still steal the media, right? And all the headlines. So either way,
It does band-aid a lot, right?
Yeah,
Or I think
we're taking
accentuate
away. Yeah.
whatever happens.
Okay, so who I want to be VP pick versus who I think it's going to be.
All right, let's start with who
Different
you
answers.
want.
I would have loved a Vivek VP pick. I think
Okay.
that's pretty much been rolled out at this point.
So you're a Vivek fan.
I'm a huge Vivek fan.
Okay.
I think he brings such a refreshing perspective. I think he's young, and I love that. Has the energy.
Yep.
I think I'm leaning more towards he's going to pick JD Vance, which is also a crowd favorite. I know
Who
huge.
I was just told today he has a son named Vivek.
He has
JD
a
Vance.
what?
JD Vance has a son named Vivek.
Oh.
Did you know that?
I did not know that. Is that a rumor? Did we fact check that?
Okay, I saw the same thing on Twitter, Tyler. I also heard that JD Vance's wife and Vivek used to hang out in college.
What?
so-
What are all these
I don't know
rumors?
if
No. So
Why?
JD
No.
Vance's wife is Hindu.
Yes,
She's
that I
from
know.
India, so she's Hindu, and so she's Indian like Vivek. He has a son named Vivek,
This sounds like
and
a
Vivek is
conspiracy, but-
Vivek is a very common name though. It's
Oh,
like
okay.
Jack. I think it's like Jack.
Okay,
in
that
India.
I didn't know.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's not like
Okay, so not that groundbreaking.
it's not like
then.
they named their son after Vivek.
Okay.
Although maybe you
I
never
mean,
know. I guess
I might.
if they hung out in college, who knows, right? Right, Sadie?
Yeah, who knows?
I
I'm
went on a
looking right
trip.
now.
I
It's
went on a
true.
trip and shared an Airbnb with a couple. Me and my wife did, and we named Nell after that girl from the Airbnb. So
Do you still keep in touch?
no, it's not totally after that. It's a family name too, but
Okay.
Mhm,
but-
sure.
no, we have her full name is Avenel, but the girl went by Nell.
Oh.
And so we decided to name Nell Avenel, but call her Nell. But this girl was so cool, we were like, oh,
Just because she was so cool.
because she was a very cool, and was like, have you ever met someone that's like so cool that you want to like? That you're like, wow, that's a great name.
No, I think
I
I just think
associate names with like
I'm so
coolness.
cool. So I never meet anyone, and I'm like, oh, let me. I
No,
your
like,
name.
right-
Oh, actually, okay. When I was 18, I made my parents sign a contract that I could change my name to Hillary Duff
Wow.
because I thought she was so cool.
Okay, so you like Hillary?
I did. I mean, I
You
still
want to
do
change
it.
your name to Hillary?
I think we'll stick with Caitlyn
How
for
about
now.
how about just a combined? We'll call you Killery. Should we
Yeah,
go
no,
Killery?
I-
Hillary
Caitlyn
Sinclair.
so fits you too. Just
Yeah,
like
you're
how
a Caitlyn.
Tyler, like
You're a very Caitlyn.
Tyler is such a Tyler. I don't know how to explain it. It's
I
true,
don't think I'm
There's
a
a
Hillary.
lot of douchey
Oh.
Tylers. I've become aware.
Yeah, my name's pretty basic. I've also become aware of that. I thought I was so
Caitlyn's
unique.
too basic of a name at all.
There's tons of Caitlins. What are you talking about? There's like tons of Caitlins.
Tyler.
I personally
No,
don't
but you know
any
about
Caitlyn.
Caitlyn though. There's like 90,000 ways to spell Caitlyn.
Yeah, this is true.
There's only one way to spell Vivek, apparently, and because that's JD Vance's son's name, and then also.
But are there
Vivek
different
Ramaswamy.
ways to pronounce Vivek?
No, that's it. It's Indian.
So,
it's like,
yeah,
it's
just-
Jack. So
just half of
it's like
Americans
Tyler,
don't
considered-
get it right.
when Vivek just entered the scene, Tyler stuck up for Vivek and would correct everyone on how to say his name.
Sadie,
right.
guys, I
He'd
do
be
the
like,
same.
Vivek like cupcake.
Yes. So Vivek said that to me, like in person when I interviewed him.
Because you said it wrong.
And oh no, I was double checking before we did the interview to be
Oh, he said,
professional.
and he said, Vivek like cake.
He said Vivek like cake,
Yeah.
and just having that
Yeah.
in person like interaction just always stuck with me. So every time I hear someone pronouncing it wrong,
And
if it's on TV and I'm like sitting there, I'm like, oh my
cringy.
god, guys,
it's cringy, yeah.
Yeah, you're a reporter.
That's
Like,
why I
keep it
correct
up.
people, is because I was
Yeah.
like, you want to get it right, especially if you work for us.
And he also never corrects anyone. He doesn't.
Well, Vivek
He's too
too
humble.
is such a friend of the organization. He's such a cool dude.
Okay,
you
but
know.
who are your picks?
My pick is I actually think MSNBC released a piece. I retweeted it this week. I think Jack Posobiec put it out
Mm-hmm.
that they are like the worst pick that Donald Trump could ever make is JD Vance. And so when they did that, I was like, I already like JD a lot. JD also a great friend. Another Ohio, both are Ohio,
Mm-hmm.
Vivek and JD.
And Turning Point Posse loves JD Vance.
Yeah, so we were one of the first people to endorse JD. So way before Trump did,
Right.
before anyone else, we endorsed JD. He came here. He was right here in our office. And we're like, dude, this dude's so cool. We're going to endorse him. And he was like polling like last out of 5 at the time, or like
Damn.
4th out of 5. And we endorsed him. And then everybody got on board. And Trump got on board and endorsed him. And obviously that put him over the top right before the election, and he won. And he's the best. He's been like one of the best senators that we've got in the United States. He's Ohio. He's like literally my age. So I think he's a little bit older than me. I could be wrong, but he's young. He's so freaking young.
Yeah.
He's barely over the age, to become president. So, it's so cool to have a young, America first.
This country needs that.
Conservative senator. I think that's as good as we're going to get. And I also have something I pitched a long time ago, which is if that happens, then he vacates and we win, right? Which is what's going to happen in November. J.D. Vance has to vacate. We should make Vivek the U.S. Senator from Ohio.
That's a win-win.
So a lot of people are like, oh, we want Vivek in the administration. And I think it'd be so cool to let's replace JD with Vivek in Ohio, and make him one of the most powerhouse U.S. senators, and then he can run for president later.
Right. And I think he's already said that he wants to be wherever, take whatever position, fill whatever role would, best help this America First agenda. So
maybe that's U.S. Senator from Ohio.
Yeah.
Maybe that's in the cabinet for President Trump.
So is your want for VP and who you think Trump's pick will be the same? You think?
So no,
okay.
I'm different. I'm a little bit more black-pilled about this. I want JD because I already know kind of that Vivek's not in the
right, which
running.
is why I said that's.
It's down to
that's what I want.
It's been down to like 4 people for the last month. JD Vance, Tim Scott. It's really 5. Byron Donalds, Marco Rubio, and Doug Burgum.
Yeah.
The governor from North
Burgum's
Dakota.
been picking up a lot of.
Allegedly, Tim Scott's out.
Yep.
And he hasn't really been vetted or he hasn't really been close to the president. Marco Rubio got really, really quiet. And so I thought for sure this was like he was in the final running. And everybody's been saying Doug Burgum's like right there. Out of those 3, I like J.D. Vance the best. I think J.D.'s the most conservative, and he's the coolest. And he's the closest to our organization, so I love that. He's the most conservative, youngest, closest to Turning Point, everything else. I think he would represent, and he's not going to, backstab the president.
Yeah, I think we know he's not a rhino.
The other 2 I have serious questions about. Marco Rubio got a lot better during the Trump years and really changed his tune. He went from I remember he was Gang of 8 with, McCain and Jeff Flake on giving illegals, citizenship and everything else, and he completely turned around during the Trump years.
But do you think Americans trust him? I don't think so.
He came in 3rd place basically in 2016.
Yeah.
So it was Trump, Cruz, and then him last in the race. But I don't trust him personally. I don't think most of the movement trusts him.
I don't think so.
And the whole Cuban thing, we're winning Cubans. We've got to win Mexican Americans, and I don't know if Marco Rubio really does anything
Brings
for
those
you.
votes, right?
Yeah, I would rather have a full America First agenda, ticket, and I think Trump Vance gives that to you. Now, Doug Burgum, I think, is the worst out of the 3. All my friends in North Dakota, he's a billionaire like Donald Trump. He's been the governor. I think that's why Trump loves other billionaires. He loves other mega donors, and I think he just socially interacts with these people.
Yeah, and can connect with them.
And there's a mutual respect, and I think Doug Burgum's been great in being respectful to the president. He's done awesome going out and campaigning and doing the right thing for President Trump. Remember, he was running for president for a hot second, had absolutely not a snowball's chance in hell.
But still, I don't think many Americans are familiar too much with him.
No, and all my friends from the Dakotas absolutely loathe him. All the conservatives loathe him because he hasn't been a super conservative governor.
Right.
So, I would much rather have J.D. Vance. And like I said, I would love the option to get Vivek in as U.S. Senator, right? Yeah. Even for a short time. Because remember, Vivek could go in, be U.S. Senator, and then go do something else because Trump will be in there for 4 years, right? Or he could be a U.S. Senator and run for office and be in there for, the remainder of that term. And then, there just is so many options then. And, JD we love, right? I think he'd be awesome. And the signs are pretty much already there. Trump Pence to Trump Vance. It just sounds like he was the ints that was always meant to be, right?
Sounds like a winning ticket to me.
Yeah, it was already there.
Yeah.
So it's it looks good on a sign. It's 5 letters. Like it just looks good.
Have you seen the swag, the T-shirts and the hats of Trump fans?
Yeah, and that's the other thing with Vivek. Trump, Vivek is kind of weird. I think like Charlie was like, Trump Donalds is cool because like Donald and Donalds, with Byron.
Yeah.
And Byron's cool, by the way. Like,
Oh,
great.
yeah,
he is a huge
he's a
future.
homie.
But he might be the next guy that runs for governor in Florida, right? Like, so like Byron could easily be the future governor of Florida. Vivek could easily be a future cabinet member or, U.S. Senator from Ohio. So these guys aren't going anywhere. We're going to have them for another 30, 40 years.
And they're super important to the movement. So.
Yeah, so.
At our People's Convention straw poll, just a reminder, Vance won 43% and Marco Rubio is 7.7%.
Yeah, do you remember when
he lost?
When Charlie even mentioned a possible VP pick with Vance, and the crowd went berserk. It was.
Oh, they went crazy.
That was super fun. So,
yeah. I mean, the big question is going to be: can CNN actually hold a fair debate? We're going to find out. Those listening after the fact, do you think CNN held a fair debate?
Yeah.
I think CNN's credibility will go way up if they let this be fair. I personally don't loathe CNN. I don't think they're very impactful. I actually hate a lot of the corporate media news now because like what Fox did to Tucker and obviously MSNBC's
Disgusting.
ghetto disgusting trash, like they just hate
everything.
And so CNN has the opportunity, I think, to carve out a niche and like rebuild
Agreed.
themselves. And it starts right here. So
That's where I started.
Yeah.
So I still have respect to an extent. But this is definitely their chance, and it's kind of Joe Biden's last chance, as Van Jones actually put it. One of CNN's commentators put it this week. This is kind of his last chance, and if he blows this, it's game over. That was a quote from Van Jones himself. But I'm curious as to how Americans are reacting to this 1 to 2 minute delay, because there was a lot of buzz on social media about that.
I heard that that's not true, that it's like more like 20 seconds, which is normal, but like we'll see. I mean, we'll see if they cut stuff out. If they screw around with the debate, like people are going to be pissed.
Oh, for sure. Especially if Trump's having like some funny lines.
And it's a lose-lose situation, right? Like for them, it's like because nobody trusts them already.
Right. That doesn't gain them credibility.
So they have to like crush it. So they have to overdo it. And if they're game for this, they're going to do it. I don't hate the like muting the mics as long as it's fair, right? Like if I, but I hate it if they don't make it fair. Right? It's like I would rather hear them like over talk each other.
And Americans will see right through that. I think.
Yeah. I hope Trump just walks over to his microphone and just like starts shouting in by his microphone if they like shut him off. Anyway, so yeah, so this has been fun. This is the great debate preview, having some conversations about the debate, our VP pick, some insider, just information. It seems like it's down to J.D. Vance and Doug Burgum. So we could find that out today. So if you're listening to this after the fact, after it's been picked,
You might already know.
We might already know. I do personally think that J.D. would make a much better VP, and Doug Burgum could easily find a place within the administration. There's lots of places for governors. I think it's fantastic. And honestly, like Burgum's kind of an unknown. Vance got a lot more love in that big race that he won in Ohio, and Ohio's gone red. So we should love that. So, anyways, looking forward to the debate here in the next few minutes. Good luck if you're going to want to follow us and listen to the debate coverage some more. Follow us on Charlie's Rumble or on his podcast. You should be able to download it today on the debate coverage for Thought Crime, and that's the Thought Crime team, which is going to be me, Charlie, Jack Posobiec, Blake, Neff, who's on that usual team. I think producer Andrew's going to be joining in. You're going to be there for a few minutes here today before you jump on with Rudy. If you want to listen to the analysis with Caitlin and the America's mayor, the Rudy Giuliani, head over to Rudy's podcast, which you should be able to find. I think it's Rudy Giuliani's, what is it? What's the title official?
He broadcasts on live from Twitter, so that should be pretty easy. Yeah, just Rudy Giuliani.
Yeah, it's just right on under his
name. And the Rumble's the Rudy Giuliani.
It's the Rudy Giuliani.
The one and only.
Yeah, so as always, getting involved with us here at Turning Point Action, please like, subscribe, download Swing State Update. We're back live, going twice a week. We're going to be probably moving to 3 times a week here, just keeping everybody up to date with what's going on in Arizona, Wisconsin, Georgia, Pennsylvania, Nevada, Michigan, Ohio, Florida, Iowa, North Carolina. We have so much happening. We're going to be having all of our staff coming on pretty regularly. We actually have some big news this next week and coming out of Turning Point Action about expansion and things that are going on. So we will have boots on the ground in your state or a state very close to you. Make plans today to get involved. Be there in October. We need the extra hands, the extra help. You can get started today by downloading the Turning Point Action application. You can go to the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store, search for TPAction. This is not TPUSA. TPUSA is for high school and college kids. Yep. TPAction is our get involved, boots on the ground application's blue. So that's how you'll know you have the right one. TPAction. Download it now. Up in the top left-hand corner, input your phone number and get started knocking doors, making phone calls, and then just staying involved and in the loop of things going on. You can also get a job with us at tpaction.com/careers. That's tpaction.com/careers. I think we have a graphic for this too. Yep, tpaction.com/careers. Join our ballot chasing. We have in Arizona, Wisconsin. Like I said, we have a big announcement coming about expansion into other states. We will have dozens, if not hundreds, more jobs available, and we're hiring right now. So if you know people in those states or Arizona, Wisconsin, please apply today.
Or plan your vacation.
Plan your vacation in October. We got to have you. Caitlin wants you here. She'll throw you in her apartment. She's air mattresses everywhere. Yeah. We'll stack them up here. We'll have you sleep in our office here. Whatever you want to do. We have lots of roof space.
Chase the vote, slumber
It's very
fighting.
chilly up there today. And then on top of that, you just get involved with Chase the Vote. So stay up to date with news information. We're gonna have tons of volunteer events that exist. That's tpaction.com/chase, or like I said, just download the application to stay involved and informed. With that, like I said, subscribe. You can follow Caitlin Sinclair on Twitter. Caitlin, what's your handle?
C Sinclair TV.
So you can look her up. It's Caitlin Sinclair. That's CAITLIN.
Until I change my name to Hillary. So.
Until you're Killary. And just for now, she's Caitlin, not Killary Sinclair.
That's right.
And then you can find me at Tyler Boyer, and follow everything TP Action at TP Action. On Twitter, it's at TPAction _. Otherwise, they'll take you to some organization in Europe. So with that, awesome, guys. Thank you. Thanks for joining, Caitlin. Excited to have you in Arizona a lot more.
Yes, sir.
To be getting to much. Look for Caitlin everywhere. They're talking politics, because you're going to be seeing a lot more of her in the Turning Point Action. Talk to you soon. We'll see you after the debate.